Good morning and good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Best of Asia Pacific Content organized by the Dubai International Content Market. My name is Victoria de Kerdrel, and I am Asia Pacific consultant at K7 Media. K7 is a consultancy based in the UK with a network of consultants around the world like me. I'm based in Singapore, and we offer regular insight and reports and also bespoke research to broadcasters, streamers, distributors, producers globally. So I'm delighted to introduce today's webinar with participants from Nippon TV, Warner Brothers International Television Production, and Digital Durian in Malaysia. Each will give a short presentation and we can then move on to a Q&A session afterwards. So please send in your questions later. So to begin with, I want to introduce you to Tom Miyauchi, Head of Formats and producer from the International Business Development Department at Nippon TV. Charlotte Raban, who is Vice President Format Sales at Warner Brothers International Television Production. And Charlotte and Tom are going to talk to us about the format Mute It. And I believe we're going to begin with a short sizzle. So over to you, Tom.
Nippon TV.
Thank you, Victoria, and welcome to all at DICM webinar. Joining our session introducing Mute It. It's a hugely successful entertainment format produced by Nippon TV, Japan's ratings champion broadcaster, as well as a production powerhouse. I'm Tom Miyauchi from Nippon TV, and I'm honored to introduce Charlotte Raban at Warner Brothers, who is joining this session. The Mute It format is distributed internationally by Warner Brothers, and Charlotte is in charge of distribution for MENA region. So hello and welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you. Hi, Tom. Very nice to meet you again, and very happy to represent Mute It today. So I'd like to just quickly introduce all of you watching this to Warner Brothers International Television Production. It was founded in 2009, and we are today producing local scripted and non-scripted program in 14 countries with our own production companies, and will also basically represent our shows where we have no local production capabilities. We license Warner Brothers formats to third parties. So we're mostly known for shows like Ellen's Game of Games, Who Do You Think You Are, The Bachelor, Mental Samurai, Repeat After Me, First Dates, and the show Little Big Shots, which in the Middle East is known as Little Big Stars. We also represent a number of international third-party production companies and broadcasters such as North-South Production, Outline Production, Three Ball Entertainment, and of course Nippon TV, whom we're very happy to partner up with and to represent Mute It.
Thank you very much for a great introduction, Charlotte. So on to Mute It. It's a part of Nippon TV's slate of very successful entertainment and game show formats, in which we are mostly well known as the creator of Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, and Silent Library. And just to give you some more background, Mute It was first TX'd in March 2020 in Japan on prime time on Nippon TV. And it's targeted for family viewing with flexible durations from a 30-minute pilot to 2-hour primetime specials. So at the time, it was produced under the strict protocols of COVID-19. And Mute It gives a nice break from a loud and noisy game show for a change. And as for the premise, Mute It has a single most important rule: don't make a sound. And the game is set in one location with multiple levels with demanding courses, scenes, and challenges. So where the games take place, contestants must not make any noise above 50 decibels, or else you'll get eliminated from the game. So in order to conquer the game, the contestant must pass 4 extremely challenging levels. As the contestant progresses and exhaustion sets in, can they retain the stamina and maintain the concentration needed to face the different obstacles? So here's a promo for you.
From the creators of some of the loudest and most outrageous game shows on Earth comes the next big format to really shout about. But this time, there's a killer twist. You must not make a sound. Contestants enter the Hall of Silence and face a series of grueling challenges. With one simple rule. Make any noise above 50 decibels and you'll be eliminated from the game. Our mics are wired to pick up even the slightest sound. And to win big, they must successfully navigate the obstacles and hazards, all in deadly silence. But as the levels increase, so does the intensity. You'll need stamina, nerves of steel, and a steady hand to make it to the final round, where it all comes down to one final challenge. So come and enjoy a break from the noise. Have you got what it takes to mute it?
Nippon TV.
Okay, so here are some key stats. So Mute It was first commissioned straight to air on Nippon TV in Japan, with an average primetime rating share of 16%, with high viewership across teens to families. They have also done a pilot, and the format is tested and improved across different slots and durations. So as you just saw, there's already an international version produced in Netherlands by Blashowski Productions, a Warner Brothers company, for SBS6. And as for the format points, Music gives a new enhanced TV and game show experience where it's played and watched in utter silence. So it's highly scalable and available on obstacle courses of all sizes and scales. And it's perfect for family viewing with a range of contestants from a teenage YouTuber to a seasoned 8-year-old talent who was actually featured in the Japanese version. And because the rule is so simple, is a limit for games and scenario variations. Now I'll pass this on to Charlotte for a successful Dutch version.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, so I'm happy to say that Blazowski managed to produce an excellent version of Mute It for SBS6. It got commissioned as a 6-part series of 60 minutes and launched in April this year, 2021, on primetime TV. And the premiere performed above the time slot average among total viewers with more than 40%. So if we compare the Japanese version to the Dutch version, we have actually stuck quite closely to the original strong concept of Mute It. In the Dutch version, each episode involves 12 players, including one celebrity in each episode, attempting to pass through these themed rooms and crazy obstacles, all without making any sounds above the 50 decibels. We used the simple and strong concept of the Japanese version with the same suspense, the comedy, and the broad family appeal, but then we added some scale and also some variation in the set and the games, and we're lucky to get two very well-known Dutch hosts to make commentary along the way, and it added a lot of high-class comedy, and that is basically why we think the show is perfect for a very broad audience. So in each round, the rounds vary throughout the series. We have different themes: jungle, bank robbery, circus, birthday parties, which brings a lot of variety to the show. And then we finally ended with an epic finale. Basically, it's sort of a Daredevil Mission Impossible inspired setup where the contestants have to shut down a decibel meter and then win the episode. So in each episode, we go from 12 contestants down to one winner. So the question is, what makes this show so different from other physical game shows? Well, for me, without a doubt, it's the unexpected comedy, the suspense that it generates. People trying to be quiet, it's hilarious to watch. Their facial expressions, and it's definitely the surprising and unique element of the show, because as a viewer, you're always holding your breath while watching somebody trying not to make a sound. and it makes you very involved in the show. So I'd like to show you just a clip of the Dutch version.
Oeh, kijk, dan gaat hij haast maken. Doe dat nou toch niet, zou je dan zeggen. En pak meteen alles daar weg. Niet zo lang wachten. Oh.
Die ook maar.
Ja, pak hem nou. Heel goed.
Vullingen. Het waren je eigen tanden. We hoorden je tanden, Rafael. Hoe krijg je dit nou toch voor elkaar? Je was er bijna.
Wat dom.
Ja.
Ja, ik bedoel, jammer.
Kom snel hierheen.
So thank you, Charlotte. It's an exciting development, and we look forward for more to come. So, Charlotte, I have some questions for you on music for MENA region. So the first question is, how did you learn about music, and how did you come to decide to distribute the format in MENA?
So Muted was introduced to me by our VP of Acquisitions, Ilan Astrak, at one of our creative exchanges. So we have 3 to 4 creative exchanges annually where we gather all of our salespeople as well as all of our creatives from our production companies around the world, and then we are presented with new shows. And it became quite clear that everybody really liked the novelty factor of Muted and thought that it could work well in their territories. So we're very honored that Nippon TV were happy to partner with us on distributing this excellent format.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent, Charlotte. And second question is, how do you see the current trends and appetites for unscripted entertainment and game show formats in MENA, and who are the main target audience?
So I think there is a big appetite in general for entertainment and game shows in the MENA region. We have great experience and success with entertainment shows like Little Big Stars for NBC and quiz shows like Mental Samurai for Dubai TV. And we're seeing there's an appetite across all the different broadcasters. So we have our latest success is Let's Ask Saudi for Saudi TV, where the participants are playing the quiz game from their own home. And we have produced up to 150 episodes now. So when it comes to target audience, I still think the main focus that we're seeing from broadcasters is that it needs to be for broad family audience. And the viewers want to be entertained and have fun. So I think the novelty factor of Muted is really important. The show represents exactly that. It's something unlike anything you've seen before. It's funny and it's entertaining, and the whole family can watch it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit all the right beats for this Muted format, Charlotte. And lastly, so do you think Muted can be produced in MENA under the new norms of COVID-19?
Absolutely. I mean, there are endless opportunities for Muted in MENA. It's an extremely COVID-friendly show. There is only one participant playing at a time, and the host can easily have social distancing between them. So it doesn't affect the nature of the show. It doesn't look, nor does it feel like a COVID show, even if it was recorded during COVID times. And that I think is really important right now, where we've all had enough of COVID and we just want to watch normal, fun, entertaining TV shows. Another benefit to the show is that it's so versatile. So you can add a lot of variety, and the fact you can change the duration according to whichever slot fits you is a massive bonus, I think, to broadcasters.
Yes, you're all very right, Charlotte. And thank you very much for this session. It's really exciting for us to know that there are plenty of opportunities for music in MENA, and we really look forward to our collaboration in the region.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. And for more information, our contact details are as the following. And this is it from us. And thank you all for joining the session. Now on to you, Victoria.
Thank you very much, Tom and Charlotte. And yes, we definitely look forward to seeing more local versions of Muted around the world. Now, I would like to introduce our audience to Mr. Sinan Ismail, who is CEO and co-founder of Digital Durian. Hello, Sinan. And Sinan is going to tell us more about his exciting company and the interesting journey of Malaysian animation. Over to you, Sinan.
Oh, thank you, Victoria. Let me share my screen now. Right, so I think I'm ready to go. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Sinan Ismail. I'm basically the CEO and co-founder of Digital Durian. And I feel very humble today because the Digital Durian logo is basically alongside big logos like K7 Media, Nippon TV, and Warner Bros. And I love the format of Muted just now. It's very interesting, right? So I'll continue my sharing session with making a statement that Digital Durian, we do not sell durians. So this is what a durian is for those of you who may not know what it is. We are actually we're a content company, right? Definitely. And what we do, high quality, value, and virtue-driven IPs for children all around the world. And behind me definitely is a very strong team. There's 55 of us in Digital Durian. Great people, creative people creating great content. And what do? We inspire happiness. I really love this picture because you can see this is our IP here, Omar and Hannah on the stage. And this was definitely before COVID. Yep. You can see the kids and the parents having these sponsors, the license benefit from the event, and of course, customers are super happy because it's a strong IP and it gives strong ratings for their channels. All right, so the title is the best of APAC, right? But I was thinking that before I talk about Digital Durian, I would really love to share about Animi, which is short for Animation Malaysia. And in this next slide, and you can actually see great companies and great IPs from Malaysia. You have Wow Animation, who did Agent Ali, Monster, who did Bobo Boy, and both of them did a movie in 2019, grossing more than 30 million ringgit in Malaysia alone. So I think that's huge. Monster is coming up with their next IP, which is a co-production, if I'm not mistaken, with Cartoon Network. Then you have Giggle Garage and Little Creator Workshop, who's done co-productions around the world, and their shows are on Netflix. Then you have Animasia, who did Chuck Chicken, which is very big in China, which is called Kung Fu Chicken. And you have Upin Ipin from Lekopak. They are huge in Indonesia and such a big population, huge following. Of course, you have R&D Studio, who did Batik Girl, and just look at the amount of awards which they got. Then you have us, Digital Durian, but more. So you look at content or cartoons, you'll normally look to Japan and China and Korea, but actually Malaysia is very strong in content creation in animation. So zoom into us, and I think there's definitely something which we can offer the world, or we can offer MENA in this instance. So now about Digital Durian, we have two IPs, and the first one is called Didi and Friends. And we have Omar and Hannah as our second IP. And collectively, we have more than 6 billion views on YouTube for these two IPs. I'll share a little bit about our journey. We started in 2008 with multimedia. Then we pivoted to do weddings. Yep. Then we pivoted to do 3D animation for oil and gas. Only in 2014, we started seriously doing cartoons. And I'll share the story in a bit. So once upon a time, in the year 2012, right, this is Didi and Friends, the Science Explorers. We got some funding, thankfully, from MDEC, and we created our trailer. Using that trailer, we pitched broadcasters and we got rejection. Then we pitched to international broadcasters, and again, a bigger rejection. And then we also pitched at Asia Animation Summit. We went to ATF, Singapore, and again, bigger rejection. But at the same time, we got a lot of feedback to improve. And I think that was very important because with that rejection, this is a picture of my son, right? When he was one year old, still cute. Now he's 9 years old. But we were actually showing him children's songs, and we found out that actually in Malaysia there wasn't people doing lagu kanak-kanak, which is children's songs, and we saw a gap there. So we took this rejected DDM fans, the science explorers, and transformed it to become children's songs for in Malay as a start, and it's huge. So this is the first video we uploaded. Now we have 75 million views for this video alone. And to cut the story short for DDM fans, we then signed with Astro, of course, a local broadcaster, for co-production. And to date, we have 3 billion views for DDM fans, more than 800 merchandise sold, 7 million subscribers. We actually sold out 10,000 tickets for a live concert, and which was very happening with kids and parents. So that's DDM fans. Now I want to go to the next part, which is Omar and Hannah. So when we were doing DDM fans, people were asking us, parents were asking us, can you get the chickens to teach Islam? Right? And this is a chicken and this is a human. And yes, they have a head, they have feet, but chicken have drumsticks and wings and tails. And how can you actually expect the chicken to teach Islam and to show what humans are doing? So then we kind of discussed and we said, let's create our next IP, and introducing Omar and Hannah, a family edutainment animation with Islamic essence. Again, it's a co-production between Digital Durian and Astro. So the question is, and when we started doing Omar and Hannah, is there space or a place for content with Islamic essence? And do broadcasters want to buy it? Do people want to watch it? We always had that question, but being a parent myself, I believe that there was. So I'll share our case study, our story in a bit, and I'll go to the roundup. Right. So it's when we started Omar and Hannah, it's made in Malaysia for the world. And before I share about the content, I think many of you maybe have only heard Digital Durian for the first time. So let me show you some analytics to see if Omar and Hannah is actually local or global. And so I think data always talks. So here, this is our Malay channel and Indonesian channel. Malay channel was launched 4 years ago. We're approaching 4.9 million subscribers and 2.4 billion views. And of course, the views are mostly from Indonesia and Malaysia, right? Nothing to be surprised there. But then we dubbed it into English, and now we have 900,000 subscribers and more than 430 million views on YouTube. And what I'm kind of like proud of and humbled of is basically the views. 19% of it comes from the UK, 15% from the US, 7% from Pakistan, 5% from India. Malaysia and Indonesia only accumulates to 15%, and 39% is the rest of the world. So this shows that this cartoon, which I was questioning myself when we started, is there a space and a place? Yes, it does have a space, right? At least on YouTube for now. Then we launched our Arabic channel in MENA to see that will the MENA region accept the content. So we launched it almost a year ago, no, just about over a year ago in July 2020. We're approaching 240,000 subscribers and 100 million views. I think that's huge for 1 year, right? And again, viewership is from all over MENA, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Egypt, Algeria, Turkey, Morocco, and you even have Germany there. And again, 40% is from the rest of the world. So it does show that we're getting a lot of good feedback and viewership on YouTube. We then launched our Urdu channel, just in April, and we're approaching 7 million views as we speak. So how about content distribution? How about going off the platform, going off YouTube? And we're actually in Astro Ceria in Malaysia. We're on RTV and Maxstream in Indonesia. We were on Spacetoon. Now we're on Majid TV in the Middle East region, MENA. And we are on Iman channel in the UK and on some other OTTs, right, like Ali Huda and One4Kids. So moving forward, right, we're getting requests from all over the world. You can see Turkish, Norwegian, Uzbek, Dutch, French, Spanish, Hindi, Russian, Tajik, Malayalam, Mandarin, Kurdish, Bengali. These are the future languages which people are coming to us and not us going to them, because they see value in the content. They see value that, hey, this is something needed and I love it, my kids love it, I want to bring it into my own language. This is pretty great for us. And again, it answers the question, is there a place and a space for content with Islamic essence? Moving forward, I'll go very fast on this. Feedback from all over the world. You can go to our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. There's no more commenting there, right? But there's a lot of great feedback. And then also from our Arabic channel, also loves here and there. Alhamdulillah. So now, since I've shown that, okay, maybe hopefully I do have your attention that digital durian is not just talking about the content. So when you talk about Islamic content, normally this is what you will see, right? Kids, and we want to preach to the kids, we want to teach Islam, but that's not how we see it, because kids are like this. They're about smiles, they're about diversity, and we're about teaching values and virtues to them so they can grow up to become better adults, better citizens of the world. And that's what Omar Hana is doing. Yeah, we're not preaching, and we're actually creating content which the children like to consume. So Omar Hana follows the journey of Omar Hana, their family and friends, as they play, learn, and teach Islamic ethics and moral values, most importantly, through stories and songs. Yeah, so it's not mundane, it's not boring. Because we started experimental, you can actually see quite a few formats: 2 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, and 11 minutes. Because why did we start with 2 minutes? Because we wanted to test the market, if people actually would want to accept or like this content. So now we're actually doing 11 minutes, and they are performing immensely well on YouTube, immensely well with our broadcasting partners. So that's really great. Just to share, to make sure that we make great content, we have great education consultants behind us, because we're talking about early childhood education. We're talking about getting the right values of Islam to the kids at the same time. So we work with these people, these great and lovely people here. And of course, we are also signed with Mufti Ismail Mank and Imam Omar Sulaiman, who's also contributing to the content. So potential beyond the content, right? Just to share, is there space and place beyond the content, beyond the TV screen? So in Malaysia, we actually have more than 500 SKUs of Omar Hana. I forgot to bring my plush toy here, but it's amazing that we have all of these categories. And we also have premium partners where we do image rights, mascots appearances, events, branded videos, TV commercials, and digital marketing together with them. So we've worked with, in Malaysia, some big brands like SSPN, Nilofa, maybe in Korea there's Koku, which we did for Malaysia. Then of course we have on-ground activation. I shared the picture just now. Again, wherever we go before COVID, and people come like crazy, and we're very happy to create these moments for the families. Beyond that, we have preschool curriculum, and which actually is used in kindergartens in Malaysia. And we also launched an array of apps which has more than 600,000 downloads in 6 months. So that's great. Yeah, and some more interesting stuff, of course, collaborations with local and international artists and influencers. So that's how we kind of like spread the content and grow the content together. So again, is there space or a place for content with Islamic essence? I shared the angle from my own case study just now, but let's look at some data. Let's look at some numbers. And it is a niche because it's Muslim kids, right? But it is a huge niche. Data shows that there's actually 1.1 billion Muslims in APAC alone. And so you're talking about 110 million Muslim children below the age of 8 years old. And globally, you're looking at 190 million Muslim children below the age of 8 years old. So it's a huge market. It's something where there's huge potential. And Omar and Hannah has shown that there is a demand. So we believe that where there is a need, there is a way to reach. And it was a challenge when we started earlier, when we started in 2017, because we knew that traditional linear broadcasters, most of them wouldn't take content with Islamic essence for kids. But we're actually proving people wrong now. And it's great that we are meeting the demand, but we actually believe that there's so much more to do and so much more collaborations and potential to explore together with partners out there in the world. So for Digital Durian, our aspiration to move forward is slightly different. Now we are focusing on creating high quality content with Islamic essence for children all around the world. That's where we stand now. And looking at the opportunities with us, right? Omar and Hannah is one, and you can license it, broadcast it, have it on your OTTs, or you can actually work with us to create more IPs with Islamic essence, more originals, and we're looking forward to meet investors, co-production partners, broadcasters, and licensees. And I believe that's the way moving forward, definitely. And just take Nippon TV and Warner Bros. Just now working together. You see that happening all around the world now, and that's what we believe we want to do. But most importantly, and I want to share that through our case study, we believe that there is a space, there is a place for content with Islamic essence, and there will be many more players out there who do quality content. We invite you to work together with us and hopefully create an impact for children all around the world. So I'll finish this by again saying my name here, Sinan Ismail. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or you can email me there. Either way, I think back to Victoria. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sinan. Thank you very much, and all the best for this exciting new phase. So now we're going to move on to the Q&A session. So please continue to send your questions in via the chat, and I'm going to invite our participants to turn on their video, and we're going to kick off with the questions. So Tom, we have a question for you to start off with. Do you see the genre of studio-based game show formats becoming a trend, and to what extent do you think the pandemic was responsible for its popularity?
Well, thanks, Victoria. It's a really great question. You know, I would pay to answer this question. So I'd say, the game show, format, has been trending for the past couple of years. And I think much of it has been sort of fueled by the pandemic, and mainly for two reasons. So I think the first reason is people are looking for entertainment with escapism. So, given the harsh realities of, being under COVID-19 for, past 18 months or so, it's like people are really looking for something that is, different and out of the box and, extraordinary settings. And I think game show formats are, there to offer those escapism elements. And secondly, I would say this is more of an obvious one, but it's like, given the production capacity during the times of pandemic, I think game show formats gives the safety measures, and it's highly repeatable in safe studio environment that could be perfect for distribution internationally. So that's my take on the question.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tom. Let me see. So if we could move to Charlotte, do you see any other trends? So beyond the trends that you've spoken about earlier with Tom, do you see any other trends, areas of particular interest in the MENA region?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is that there's a massive trend where all shows that come on TV, on linear TV, are expected to also be incorporated on social media platforms as a way of promoting the show. We're seeing more and more viewers are watching content on their phones, and therefore they kind of need to be hooked up on social media either via an app or Facebook, on YouTube, as a way of keeping their involvement high in the show. And it's also a great way of keeping the younger audience interested in the shows, because we are seeing that some of them are escaping linear channels towards more short content. And so we are finding that when we do shows and we incorporate social media platforms with the show to promote the show, we have a higher viewer involvement. So that's a trend I'm seeing. And we are seeing across the board that content on that can be viewed on your phone will increase the viewer involvement. So therefore, that's sort of across the board, across all shows. We're still seeing that talent shows are strong. They're still going strong. But what we're seeing now is that physical game shows are becoming more and more of a trend in MENA. We have, for example, Ellen DeGeneres Game of Games, which has been commissioned for 2 seasons for NBC. And that's a very high physical game show. We're seeing shows where it's not just about the Q&A type shows. It is really physical shows that seems to be going that way, just like it is with Muted. And that's why I think the show is ideal for the MENA region, because I think it kind of fits the bill across the board. Beyond that, I think we're still seeing that there are trends like cooking shows that they have been successful for a long time, but they're still going strong. I think it's the sort of the fact that you involve the whole family in it. You can have cooking shows that are now have added entertainment value. We have a show called, for example, called Chef in Your Ear, where it's the entertainment of seeing people who haven't been used to cooking before. Will they be able to cook by an earpiece through the ear of a real chef telling you what to do? So you add entertainment factor to a cooking show. So it's not just a cooking show. So that's still a trend. And I think finally, what we're seeing is that nostalgia is coming back again. Shows that we are known for a long time. It might not have been on air for years and years, like Family Feud, comes back and can all of a sudden become a big success purely because of the nostalgia factor. And of course, as well, because these shows hit home with a lot of people and reminds them of the good old days. So I think, yeah, as Tom said, escapism, feel-good TV, entertainment, and nostalgia. That's really the trends we're seeing right now for MENA.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Charlotte. So just following on the same theme, Sinan, we've got a question that's just come in regarding the sort of story and song driven based IP that you mentioned. Do you see any particular trends in this region for this type of story and song driven IP?
Yeah, I think for story and song driven, right? I think it's a format which has been there since the early days of Disney, right? And I don't think it's going to go away. And I think particularly, and when you zoom into MENA, and if you study the content on YouTube, right, you can actually see a lot of IPs doing well. Even though, to be very honest with you, the quality isn't up to broadcast quality. Right, but because of the format, because of the storyline and singing embedded together, it works. And we're talking about videos which have we're talking about 1 million, 2 million views. We're talking about 50 million, 74 million views, right? So for me, there is definitely a gap there, and I think especially for children's content, and I don't think it's going to go away. So I think the trend is still there in MENA, and if you go beyond that, to be honest, right, even if you look at Omar and Hannah, we didn't actually believe that from Norway to actually dub the content into Norwegian, because it's not a Muslim majority country. But it's amazing that for us that we can reach this audience with this format and with the right intentions. And so I think it's really great. And by the way, I didn't say it just now, and I love Muted. I mean, when I watch your sharing this, I was like, I wish I was in that show. So, back to you.
Thanks, Tina.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant show. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
I'd love to.
Thank you very much, Sinan. So let me take maybe another question for Tom regarding international collaboration. So could you talk, as a pioneer for international collaboration, could you talk to us about how the Warner Nippon relationship came about and what skill sets you seek when identifying new partnerships?
Sure.
So as you may know, we've done a couple of collaborations with international partners across the world, and I think Warner Brothers are one of the special types that we really sort of sympathize with their emotional content and ability and production capability and distribution network around the world. And I think just to give you a little bit of background is that we've gone through the days where we were able to travel everyone, and back a few years ago, and we met together and started conversation in markets such as MIPCOM, MIPTV, and then we continue to keep the dialogue going with the Warner Brothers team. And as you know, Warner Brothers has amazing talents, and likely-minded professionals, who are willing to create amazing content. And I think we're very lucky in the sense that we share the same passion to create family entertainment that could be traveling around the world for families around the world. But the other thing is, importantly, is so we share the same passion, but different, skill sets. So I would say for us, Nippon TV, we're specializing in creating unique new format ideas and concept. And what Warner Brothers are really good at is, making this into international development and also distributing it internationally. So we share the same passion and the different skill sets, and continuing the conversation together in the dialogues between us. And we always, embrace, thinking out of the box and, thinking about the content in the market together, and, don't hesitate to, ask, questions. And, we are all, partners in creating great entertainment together. And I think that's the secret recipe for great collaboration internationally.
Great. Okay. Question for you, Charlotte. Are there any new territories you're hoping to break into with the new slate?
Absolutely. I mean, we're currently in talks already with broadcasters and production companies all around the world, and there is a lot of interest in Muted at the moment. And I think we've mentioned it during the presentation, but I just want to reiterate, to have a show that can be made globally across the board, where you basically can maintain the key format elements, the structural elements of the show can be the same in any country around the world. That's extraordinary. It can fit any slot. The fact you can make it from a 30-minute show up to a 120-minute show and still retain the fun, the suspense, is extraordinary, because a lot of formats don't have that flexibility. There are certain limitations in general with certain formats, whereas with this show, you can literally adapt it in any way, shape, or form. So, for example, for the Dutch version, we added themes. So there was constant changing themes throughout the series. You can change the amount of contestants that are participating. You can change the duration of the show. So it's very flexible depending on what slot you have available in your schedule. And then on top of that, the fact that it is also COVID friendly is just an added bonus. So in case you are worried about, can you produce this show in case something goes wrong again with the pandemic, you're sure that you won't have a risky show on your hands. It's been done. It's proven successful. So we are basically pitching it all around the world right now. We're also going to be pitching the show to all of our clients at the virtual MIPCOM, as well as at the different TV festivals like DICM in November, where we're hoping to attend as well physically. So I do think that there is lots and lots of opportunities. And yeah, we look forward to, making this success worldwide.
Great. And actually, I've just received a message which is quite pertinent to your answer just now. How can we present and produce Muted, the Muted format in Egypt for television broadcast? Could you tell us practically how we should proceed?
Yeah, they're very welcome to send me an email. In the presentation, my email's there, but I can just mention it now as well. It's my name with a dot in between. So charlotte.raben@warnerbros.com. Feel free to send me an email. I will respond immediately, and then we can initiate collaboration.
Fantastic. Exciting.
Thank you for the interest.
Okay. Right. So now I'd like to ask a question to Sinan. you're open to new collaborations and partnerships all over the world, but do you see Digital Durian moving into content for older age groups? And is there a particular region that you're keen to explore?
Wow. Okay, so previously, historically, we've only done 2 IPs, and both of them actually started as preschool cartoons. Yeah. However, Omar Hana kind of like evolved from 2 to 5 to actually be 4 to 8 now, and which is great. To be honest, the answer actually lies in the team. And so the team has been asking me that, hey, we love superheroes, guys, and we love all these action formats and all these other things. So I think definitely we will want to go to have a bigger slate. Yeah. And because being an IP company, we won't stay with 1 IP or 2 IPs, and we want to create more. So the answer is yes, we will definitely go beyond maybe 9 to 10. No, sorry, from 7 to 10 or 8 to 11. And maybe for boys, targeted to boys, or maybe targeted to girls. Let's see in the future. So the answer is yes, definitely we would want to. But would that happen this year, next year, 5 years later? And it all depends on how well we do and the sustainability of the company. We're not a huge company. We're very, I would say, startup. It's still, even though we're 12 years old, but I still consider ourselves as a startup, right? When you talk about the regions, I think, and when you were talking about the IPs, we are pretty certain we've chose our direction to create IPs with Islamic essence, and just with the reason that we believe that there's a lot to share, right? There's a lot of goodness to share. There's a lot of content which is targeted to the Muslim kids, but actually showing the world that Islam is actually a beautiful religion, and it's all about diversity. It's all about being together. So, at least for me and my team, that's where we're heading moving forward. And we believe that there's a niche there. It's an untapped niche, which I think works with what we want to do, what we believe in. And we also know that when we choose this path, and it may, I'm not saying it will, it may close the doors working with people like Warner Bros. And Disney and Nickelodeon. We understand that. But we believe that with good content, right? And as long as the intention is right and the values are right, we will find partners and to actually distribute globally. Targeted regions, I think, again, definitely MENA is huge, and we definitely want to enter MENA correctly. Historically, Omar Hana actually we did 3 times dubbing just to get it right. So it was a lot of money R&D spent, which was not good. But we're learning as we go as a company. But I think just looking at Nippon TV and Warner Bros., I think finding global partners who have the experience, who actually know how to do it, and has the same passion to do it, and is critical in the success of a format or an IP. And we hope we can find that type of partner, right? We're still looking, but without that partner yet, we're still actually expanding and reaching people. So I think that's great on itself. Yeah.
I actually have another question for you, Sinan, which is a little bit related to when you touched upon the Malaysian animation companies. What kind of funding is available to Malaysian creators to explore international opportunities worldwide?
Right. So we're very lucky in Malaysia. Yeah, I think the industry is very lucky. We grew with funding from the government, and I think it's the same in Korea and Canada, where there's a lot of help from the government. And because of that, we kind of like we have quite a few strong IPs. So definitely going to MDEC is one. I think now it's kind of different. The landscape last time in the earlier days, which I didn't get to tap into that. There was 100% funding, and now there's no more of that. It's 40% or 30% funding, and you need to find a co-production partner, and stuff like that, or broadcaster come on board. So, which I think is good, and because free money is always it's good to have free money, but some people don't use it wisely, put it that way. So having a proper business model in, and having the right partners in, and to answer your question, yes, there's a lot that still is. I wouldn't say a lot compared to the 10, 20 years ago. There still is help from the government. But I think the most important thing is, whatever it is, you need to have a good model, then you need to have a good strategy and structure to move forward. I think it's even harder today, because even if you go to MIPCON, you meet people physically, but how do you do it? Especially for new companies or new entries like us, to build a relationship and stuff like that. So it's tougher now, and in my opinion, but you just need to find ways to create great content, and great content on itself will fly.
Great, thank you. We do actually have a lot of questions on the same theme. I'm wondering if I could bring you into the conversation, Tom. How do you think the industry has changed in the pandemic? And just touching on Sinan's comment about building your network when we can't travel, and looking ahead to whether we can attend certain markets. I mean, do you think there have been some industry changes that are here to stay?
I think the changes are really, just happening as we speak. And I'd say, Sinan hit, some really great points about, collaboration. And there's always, someone out there, who has the same sort of vision and the passion, but it's, obviously made it very difficult to, identify those, people, given, we have to all work remotely, even within, our own countries and companies. And I think it's a really changing landscape given all that. But I would say, with the once you find the partner, you're able to deepen the conversation through, being able to connect remotely, just like now. And I think it does work very well in favor of, deep collaboration or content creation. But I would say we're still working on, networking. And I think, given this, such, great opportunity by DICM, market, and it's important that we connect during the market and on and off as well. So I think the ways to connect and in the introduction through the key partners is very important as well. So I think it's always important that we speak of what we're looking for. Then you're able to connect with the right partner. So yeah, that's my view.
Fantastic. Thank you. I have another question, possibly for Charlotte. Do you believe that TV formats can change the viewing habits in the MENA region? Have you had any surprises in this region, and do you see any, any examples that you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think in general, formats can play a really big importance in changing viewing habits, because I think we sometimes try and push the boundaries, and we're testing the market's habits to see what is possible, because we are talking about a region which is so huge and represents so many different cultures, habits, religious sort of opinions. And so it's a region where the market is sort of used to being tested. You see what works. There is not one fits all, because you are accommodating so many different countries with so many different cultural backgrounds. That being said, though, I think we're seeing that all markets are opening up, also because of the social media influence that is coming now, where we're seeing more and more streaming services show up in the MENA region. I think it will allow certain shows that wouldn't work on linear TV, it will allow them to be tested and tried on social media platforms first, and that will also change the sort of normal viewing experience, both in the way of how you watch it, where you watch it, and when you watch it. And so I think we are seeing that started a while ago, but we're definitely seeing that that's affecting even the linear channels now, which are taking more risk when it comes to what type of shows they would put on primetime TV, and also what shows in general they're looking for. So I'll give you an example. We have the show Let's Ask Saudi, which is a show which incorporates people from home, which normally was not something that would be a possibility in the old days. It was just not seen to be something that you would do. That is a massive success. Definitely helped by the COVID, of course, because they couldn't go anywhere, nobody could sort of travel. This was an extraordinary way of, you know, participating in a TV show, but from your own home, being able to win and have fun with other families that could be thousands of miles away from you. So that's just an example of a show that was probably previously not a possibility, that all of a sudden became a success and is now, you know, as I mentioned, it's doing 130 episodes, and I think it will continue to do well because it's a fun way to interact with other people and other viewers and other contestants. And then you have, you can obviously, now COVID is improving, you can easily include the studio element of the show and audience in the show if you want to, because the show was not originally made for a pandemic. It was a show that was made just the way it is. So it just happened to fit well in a pandemic situation. So yeah, I definitely see we're seeing changes, but I think they're all for the better.
Fantastic. Yeah, incredibly interesting. Thank you so much for that, Charlotte. I believe we've just got time for one more question, possibly from the point of view of Asia Pacific production company. So Sinan, how appealing is the MENA region in comparison to other territories around the world? So for you, for Digital Durian, how appealing is the region for you?
I think for us, because we're targeted to do Islamic essence content, right? So definitely that is a huge market for us. Sadly, my dad knows Arabic, my mom knows Arabic, I don't. So I guess I need to learn Arabic now. But in terms of the market, I think it's definitely a huge market for us, which we want to enter. We're learning about it. We want to make it, we want to get it right. But ultimately, our aspiration is, our vision and aspiration is, one day we want the kids to grow up, and as my generation, I mean still us, and we grew up with Disney or Warner Bros. or Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, right? We want to be one of them for the Muslim kids, right? So I think we're not region specific, right? I think the target is to reach as many children as possible, because for us it's not just a business or an entertainment. We believe that it's actually a thing which we need to do, because we need to give equal opportunities for these kids to watch content which is related to which when they watch it, they feel that it's them. Yeah, they can relate to it closer. And I think saying that even the Netflixes, the Disneys of the world are doing that. You see Coco, you see Raya, you see Luca, and when we talk about Islamic content, it doesn't really have to be Islamic. Again, it's not preaching. Yeah, it's basically content which we feel is safe for Muslim kids. Put it that way. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sinan. And thank you to all of our participants. This is all we have. We have many questions, but I'm afraid we're going to have to bring the webinar to a close. So I'd like to thank you, Tom Miyauchi, Charlotte Raban, Sinan Ismail. It's been a real pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you also to the audience for participating in the session. And please, I'd like to encourage you to join us for the next webinar, A Glimpse of European Content, which is taking place on the 15th of September. So thank you very much again, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.